broadcasting live from our studio in Appleton, Wisconsin. You're tuned into Fox Cities Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio. We're the show that gives you an opportunity to call in and be a part of the show. Our call-in line is 920-358-0795. Core. I'd like to welcome our special guest co-host. You might know her as a front woman from the band Holly and the Nice Lions. It's Holly Trasti. How are you doing?
Woo! I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good. It's been a while since we spoke in this kind of format. Anything new happening?
Yeah, we're my band Holly and the Nice Lions just got done recording an album out in New Mexico.
Well, that's pretty exciting.
Yes, it was exciting.
New Mexico.
Yeah, I wish I could say that I saw some great parts of New Mexico, but I was mostly recording in a studio.
Well, it's a good time to bring on our special guest. My next guest has been on the show before. She is organizing the comedy portion of the upcoming GBUFO Invasion Fest 2025. Hopefully she'll share some tales about performing at the Warped Tour recently. And then looking ahead, she's going to be opening for Brian Posehn. I'd like to welcome Kristin Lytie back to Fox Cities Core. How are you doing?
Good. I'm so happy to be here and thrilled to have brought Holly with me.
Holly's going to be asking you a lot of questions today if I drop the ball, so I'm pretty excited about that.
In the hot seat.
How long have you two known each other? Let's start out there.
Over 20 years.
Yeah.
I think I met you when I was 19.
Yeah. I think I was, around that age.
Yeah. We met in Women's Studies class.
Women's Studies.
Yes, at UWGB.
Professor Kim Nielsen.
Yeah.
She brought us together.
Yeah.
So
I had known about you before, though, because you worked at the exclusive company.
Oh, I thought you were like, because everyone hated you.
No way, you were cool.
I'm always curious about like what draws people together. And you mentioned you met in a class. Was the initial conversation about music or the arts? Do you remember that first conversation?
Well, now looking back, I remember like how awkward it was to make friends at that age, and it feels so silly now. But I was like really thinking about it, like, okay, what should I say? What?
I remember we had like one of those icebreaker things that we had to do. You had to like go around, and we had to do this for some reason during it.
Oh yeah,
and talk to each person, and I think it was we had mutual friends like Mandy and stuff, and so instead of like talking about something in the class like we were supposed to, you just went, you know people I know. And then we went to go see The Gossip together. I think that was like our first like friend outing.
Was The Gossip a movie?
No, it was a band.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. I think they're still a band.
Yeah, I think Beth Ditto might have done more of a solo career now.
That's true, yeah.
They still do stuff.
Is that a band from the area or a national band?
Arkansas, if I remember
They
correctly.
were Arkansas, but they moved to the Pacific Northwest, I think.
Yes. That's all the cool kids do.
Pretty big step for a friendship to go to like a bigger show like that.
Yeah, well, you know.
We had faith.
We were young. We didn't know. You're like, hi, stranger. I'll get in the car with you.
You like the same band as me. Of course we're going to be BFFs.
So over the years, you've stayed good friends, and now you're linked up with different events like this. It's kind of cool that, Kristin, you're a comedian, you're a musician, and you guys are both performing at the GBUFO Invasion Fest 2025. It's always a mouthful to say that. So can you tell me exactly what you're doing at the festival? What's your role?
Yeah, so for the fest, I am helping out with promotions, and then at 5 o'clock each day, there will be an hour of stand-up comedy. So I'm bringing in JT Haversat, Arlotto Martin, Shonda Sung, Arish Singh, Sari Baliak, and Shannon Norman from all over the country, and they're going to do roughly probably like 10-minute sets. So both days, you'll get a taste of comedy from all over the country, and I'll be hosting that. And then actually Saturday, July 26th, we're going to do a longer extended show at the Mad World Artists Collective, and that's at 8 p.m., so it'll be a little later. You
curated the comedy last year as well, didn't you?
Yes, and they trusted me with it again this year.
What were some of the challenges that you faced last year, or some of the things that you were maybe most nervous about? And were you worrying about a lot of things that ended up not mattering in the end?
Well, I think, whenever you're trying to infuse comedy into a music space, the biggest challenge to overcome is how to reorientate that space and bring people sitting a little bit closer. Number one, getting them sitting. So I realized real quick, like, oh, next year I should bring chairs. Because it's a little awkward to do stand-up comedy to people who are standing. And then I noticed as soon as a band is done, people walk away from the stage and then they watch the comedy from the outer ring. So it's hard to build momentum and energy in a crowd when they're all very far away from you. So this year I'm kind of strategizing on, how to place seats closer or bring the crowd closer to the comedians. But last year we had Anna Valenzuela, who is phenomenal. She's out of LA, and she just jumped down into the crowd and started talking to people. And, she brought a lot of energy and was very fun and gave me a lot of ideas on how to make things better this year.
I never thought of that, needing the crowd close to you for comedy as well, because Holly, you can probably agree, it's always better for a musician when the people are up front. But for comedy, a musician, you're far away if it's loud. Comedy, you're far away probably because you're afraid you're going to get made fun out of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what's going on. Because it has been a process to try to introduce like the punk scene to comedy and explain to them that much like music, there's different genres of comedy for everybody. Like we're not all racist with puppets. So please come.
You're not?
So your album came out last year, Disassociation Vacation.
Yes.
And how did that feel to finally, when we spoke last, the album was not out yet. Mm-hmm. Since then, it has come out. How has the reception been to the album?
It's been really good. I made a list of my favorite memories the other day, and I think top 10 was, sitting on my bed and seeing it hit number 1 on iTunes and stay there for like a day and a half. That was really special. And, it's on Sirius XM, so it's nice to see that it feels like I've elevated my career into a little bit more of a professional setting.
Have you been listening to Sirius XM when it's aired?
I did once. I was driving, and it came on, and I was like, and
probably taking pictures of
that. I did, yeah. I mean, it's not legal to do, but I might have done it.
There's a lot of comedy. If you're from Wisconsin, you can relate to a lot of things, like the serial killer references and things like that. Does that material go over better out of state compared to in Wisconsin?
It depends. Like Iowa loves dark material, but I have found Wisconsin crowds do enjoy more dark material because like sometimes I'll do a typical set that I would do here somewhere like, San Diego, and they're just like, oh no, it's scary. Are you okay?
How was it to perform that material after the album came out when people might have listened to it? You can listen to it 10 times, in a day if you want to now. Does it still go over?
I don't think anyone's doing that, but it still goes over because while, this is an amazing achievement for me on the national level, it doesn't get a ton of airplay. So it's not like people are really hearing this unless they go out of their way to seek me out. So, I still do material from the album. I've built a new, I would say 20 minutes that I'm really proud of. But it's mostly a motivator to write new material.
Have you been writing a lot?
I have. I just did a new 10 at Skyline last weekend as part of my feature set.
What's in the notebook? Do you have material in there?
No, these are all the notes of where you can buy tickets for GBUFO, days that I'm doing things, because I don't remember anything.
Well, and you've got a calendar on your website that is, it seems like you keep that pretty accurate or pretty up to date.
I do. It's connected to my phone, so that is, I live and die by the phone.
Let's talk about the GBUFO Invasion Fest 2025. How can people buy tickets for that?
Oh, great question. You can get tickets at local record stores like GBUFO in Green Bay, Irving Place Records in Milwaukee, Mad City Music in Madison, and Eroding Winds in Appleton and Oshkosh. I think it's kind of fun that you have to buy tickets in person.
And it's cash, right? So all the tickets have to be paid for in cash. What was the vibe like last year? You said that when the musicians would play or get done playing, people would kind of back to the edges.
The corners, the shadows, away.
But the chairs would take care of that, but you'd have to pull those in after every band, or after the band's finished, right? And then pull them back.
Yeah. I'm still working that out in my head. Maybe.
You got a few days.
Yeah.
Well, and the fest is also, one day is at Badger Badger Brewery?
Yeah.
Badger State Brewery, thank you.
Friday.
And then the next day's at the Riverside Ballroom.
The
I know.
historic Riverside
Which
Ballroom.
I am so excited about. Everyone lists their favorite show that they've gone to there.
And Holly, you're playing that at the ballroom, right?
Yes. Yes.
How cool.
I can't remember my favorite show there.
Have you performed there before, or is this the first time?
I've been there, but I have never performed there. So that'll be new. It's a big space. So
I'm really excited for this venue. I think it's one of the coolest venues in Green Bay, and the fact that we get to play it, it feels cool. I
You
like
can really
that.
fit a lot of people in there, too.
Yeah, y'all better come.
Tom used to book like a bunch of bands there when there was interim of where to book bands in Green Bay, and I remember I think I saw like Tommy Stinson there.
I saw Fugazi there.
Yeah,
Oh, so good.
that's cool.
That was cool.
I've never been there.
Really? Oh, you're going to come, right?
I'd like to, yeah. I'd hope so.
That sounds like a soft yes.
Yeah, I know. It's that whole schedule filling up thing. So people can buy tickets. You have to buy them in person. You listed off where you can get them. Did anybody do any filming or anything last year at the fest?
Dan Garrett's, I'm pretty sure he did.
The legendary
Dan.
Dan.
So I'm pretty sure I have a video of us from there. So
Oh, cool.
I think he must have done everyone.
Holly, you've got to explain what Danger Videos is for people that aren't aware.
It's Danger Videos is a YouTube. I think he just posts them on YouTube and on his personal social media pages. But he is at almost every single local Fox Valley music event, and he records them and meticulously, and then picks what he thinks is the best song from each band set and posts it on social media and YouTube like the next day or two. He is a real warrior.
He brings his sister. His sister's great to
Yeah.
a lot of those shows.
Yeah.
Kristin, how do you feel about people filming your sets? Because comedy is a little different.
Yeah, most comics prefer that you don't, because we might be working on material, or we might just be having a bad day, or, it's not the time frame in which we want that joke to go public. So don't do that to comedians. But musicians, yes.
Have you noticed it from the stage before, where somebody's filming it with their phone or a video camera?
It doesn't happen very often, which is nice. 'Cause it can be I have had an awkward conversation before with someone about like, hey, that was a brand new joke I've never done before and it sucked. Could you not?
That's one thing you hear the punchline, it just doesn't hit as hard when you actually deliver it somewhere else.
I mean, I would argue the same thing happens with musicians. You're like, well, that was a new song and it was bad.
I have never seen you be bad. I love taking photos of you. You look like a rock god up there.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
Also, you recently opened a show for Bobcat.
Yeah, that was last weekend.
Tell me about that.
It was awesome. Bobcat is someone I just genuinely respect and really love. I feel really lucky when I get to work with people that I just want to watch their set, and then, I get to be on the same stage. That's pretty cool. So yeah, we had a great weekend. We did 4 shows. My family came out to the Sunday early show. So it was very fun.
Yeah, you posted a picture of some of the family members with him.
Oh, yeah. They were starstruck. They were like, get out of here, Kristin. We want to talk to Bobcat.
Did you talk to Bobcat about anything specific that you would like to share? Did he watch your set?
Oh, yeah. He usually watches chunks of sets. I don't know if he watches the whole thing. He's probably, preparing for his own set as well. But yeah, we just kind of chatted about the current state of the world and LA and, how it's right now it feels a little bit challenging to be a comedian and to go out, and are we a distraction, or do we try to do larger messaging and pull people into the current moment? There's always that dichotomy when you're trying to comment on society.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird time again.
It is, yeah. It's a real garbage fire out there.
Well, as far as like watching other performers, I don't know, some comedians, I don't know if they like that, because then, I mean, this is just a non-comedian asking a question, but is it hard to watch another comedian and not subconsciously want to modify and reuse some of those jokes, like Carlos Mencina?
Oh God, no. I think jokes there's like, what do we call it? Parallel thinking, which like you both have the same bit about something, which could happen because, there's so much happening in the world right now. But you never want to try to like just copy someone.
Have you had to change your set because of a similar?
No, but I have had friends who work with bigger names, and they'll ask, like, don't do jokes about being divorced or, because that's the topic I want to talk about, and I want it to be fresh when I get it on stage. So I think that links to seniority. You have to have seniority to make that ask of people.
Holly, have you seen her perform before?
Too many times.
Never even once. You're my good friend, but I just don't like what you do.
Do you get that reaction a lot where you let friends come and see you and just not agree with either the political message of some of the bits? Or
I don't think Kristin would be friends with people who, yeah.
Ding, you are correct.
Well, this might be a good time to also say that you've written a zine.
Oh, yeah. Last year I put out a zine called Uniontown, and my friend Whitney Wasson did the illustrations for it. They modeled it after Busytown by Richard Scarry.
How has it gone over?
It's different with zines. You just kind of put it out into the world, and maybe people like it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like internet traction on a zine.
No.
Yeah.
Holly, have you read the zine?
Yeah.
Gosh, I feel like I'm behind on this. Do you have any questions about it?
No, I mean, I hear about Kristin's job a lot from her.
Oh, so much.
I mean, I love it. And I ask, like, Kristin's a great resource when I'm like, this is happening at someone's work. And she's like, this is what you do.
I'm glad you feel that way.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I'm always annoying.
Oh, no. You have so much knowledge about things, and you're so passionate about your job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to blush.
Does a lot of that job stuff pull over into material?
Sometimes. But, I like to respect people's privacy, and, I don't know. I don't think, not a whole lot, actually. It is something I've been trying to think about more, to talk about my work with the union in a way that isn't, like, getting clapter or, because sometimes when I say I'm a union organizer, crowds will, depending on the city I'm in, they'll be like, yay, and that gets boring. I'm like, don't just applaud for me because I have a job, I don't know. Maybe I'm just cynical. I don't know.
I mean, you do bring it up, but you don't really go into the, like, inner workings of your job, because is that really funny?
Yeah, and it's kind of like it would take 5 minutes to explain what I do, so.
Well, I suppose like setting up that persona when you go out there sets the stage for the upcoming jokes and everything that follows. So I guess you kind of are doing a delicate balance.
Yeah. I did actually this weekend at Skyline. I mentioned I'm a union organizer, and it's funny because like 3 of the shows liked it, and 1 show they were like, "No, thank you."
Let's leave that awkward pause there for a little bit.
That's cool.
So you also did something that I think is pretty cool. You performed at the Warped Tour.
Yeah, that was through our record label, Burn This Records. Brandy Posey, who started that label, set it up, and she got us on the comedy stage, or created a comedy stage, I should say.
Was this the first time that they've done something like that?
So I guess in the past they used to do comedy, like JT Haversat. He had been on the Warped Tour comedy stage before, but that was like, I want to say early 2000s. It was quite a ways in the past.
So like the heyday.
The heyday, yeah. He was in the OG Warped Tour. But honestly, it was, the best I've ever been treated professionally, probably. Like, they gave us shoes, they gave us food and drinks, and they drove us around in little golf carts. It was amazing.
You can't go wrong with a golf cart.
No. Cutting off that wristband was like one of the saddest moments in my life. I was like, no, I'm special.
No one cares about me.
No one cares.
Did you get, I know you met one of the Lunatics. Did you get to go around and see some sets from some bands that you liked or meet other people that you liked?
Yeah, honestly, not a ton of the bands on this lineup were part of my past, but I got to watch the Suicide Machines and Fishbone, which were 2 that I really loved.
Yeah. I really like those bands as well.
Mm-hmm. And then in Orlando in November, I get to see Amigo the Devil and the Dolly Rots, which I'm excited about.
Very cool. Any other tidbits about the Warped Tour that we should know about? Any interesting insights?
Well, it's kind of interesting because it was the same weekend as Donald Trump's big birthday parade. And we were a little worried. We were like, is traffic going to be bad? Oh, my God. And, you wouldn't have even known it was happening. No one cared.
So were you doing a lot of networking at this event?
No, I'm not good at that.
When it comes to the shoes,
Yeah.
did you pre-order your shoes?
Great question. So they had this little artist lounge with tables, and they had a booth of shoes, and they had all the models out that they had, and you could try them on. And so I tried on probably 4 pairs before I settled on my blue navy high tops.
That's pretty
Pretty cool.
I never heard of free shoes at anything like that.
I know. I was in for that.
So do you think there'd be any, was this successful enough where the Warped Tour would maybe consider doing this again?
I think so. There was a lot of people there. It was packed.
Anything you learned from this that you can use towards the GBUFO Invasion Fest 2025?
I need to make merch.
You need to give people shoes.
Oh, yeah. We need to give people shoes.
Hey, you mentioned, too, that somebody asked you for a picture with you or an autograph or something like that.
Oh, yeah. That was very sweet.
Can you tell me about that? Because I think that's such a cool milestone.
Yeah, it was, one of the, we get a certain amount of guest passes as artists for Van's Warped Tour, and I don't know exactly how it happened, but this woman ended up getting one of the passes. So she came to the booth, and she was like, oh, I really want to meet Kristin Lytie. And I was like, I think that's me. And she was like, oh, thank you so much. And then she bought a bunch of our merch and talked to us and was like, oh, I want a photo with you and your zine. And she seemed to really love zines. So that was pretty neat. And normally that only happens when someone's wasted. So that felt nice.
The zine, is there only one issue that out?
Yeah.
And there'll only be one issue?
I don't know.
I mean, do you have other ideas that you could do another issue or two?
I want to say yes, but who knows? I'm a queen of the one and done. So.
And do you still have copies of the vinyl album?
Yes.
And that was the cool green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that came out. I think I have about 70 copies left. So, hurry, get them while they're hot.
Did you have to mail all those out after the pre-sale started?
I did, yes.
Tell me about that.
Actually, I really enjoy one of the postal workers at the downtown one, so I like to chat with him when I go in, and sometimes I'll go to the west side one where our friend Pam works, so...
Shout out Pam.
Yeah, and Corey. So, I got a lot of postal worker friends, so it's always a good time at the post office. I enjoy it.
You just carry armfuls of records in there?
Yeah, it feels kind of cool. Ooh, look at me.
Anything get lost in the mail?
No, actually.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's always a
because
fear.
we're friends with the postal
Yeah,
worker.
we got that connection. Yeah.
So, Holly, let's quickly talk about what you've got going on with the Nice Lines. You said you recently you finished a project.
Yes. We just got the final mixes, and so we're in let's format the album art and send it out to get pressed stage. But I don't want to I don't like to announce a date until it's actually out the door in the mail, and I know I have a buffer, and we're not cutting hairs of, is my album going to get here in time to have the release show? So
we're looking at July 31st.
Yep. You got it. I'm thinking probably early fall. So
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And you said you went to New Mexico, but who did you record with?
This fellow Patrick Haight, who has recorded bands way above our caliber, like Ty Seagal.
You're amazing. Shut up.
And Foxygen and Shoo Shoo. I don't know how you say it.
I think that's
Choo
right.
Choo.
The XIU?
Yeah,
Shoo Shoo.
yeah.
Holly, I feel like that about everything.
Yes,
Can't
I'm
pronounce
I
anything.
can read it, but can I say it? But yeah, so he's recorded all these very cool bands, and he's retired now, so he just does projects he wants. And when he was like, I want to record your band, I was, what do you say? I'm like, yes.
Did that connection come as a result of Unplugged?
Yes, it sure did. So he's married to Deborah Ayal of Romeo Void, who I worked with on the movie I've been working on, we wrote a song together for that movie, and working with her went so well that then her husband was like, I want to work with her too. He doesn't talk like that.
Now, when you say you're working on it, you're like the director and producer of this movie, right? Or
Right now I am in a co-director, but that's just interim until I want an actual professional female director to come on. So, but I'm the interim female director until we get someone with more experience on board. But I'm a associate producer and lead voice actor.
Now, this project's been going for a while. So is there a date that you guys are looking at to get this wrapped up?
No. I'm not in charge of getting things moving faster in that direction. We got a lot of the voice work done really quick, which was cool. But now it's in that, money negotiations of getting a production team to come on to actually draw the whole thing. So
the drawing didn't even start yet?
No, we have character design and we have a pitch reel, but we're working on getting it drawn now. So
I thought I had the name. I'm going to find it quick here.
Name of what?
That Dana Clay.
Dana Clay is the protagonist's name.
Dana Clay would be a great name for like the front person for a band, I think.
Yeah, well,
Dana Clay.
Dana Clay. Yeah. Well, that's how I got into this business, is being a front person of a band.
It really, we laugh, but that's kind of true, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You want to talk about that at all?
I can for a bit. Yeah. I don't want to get off topic too much, but so yeah, I front a band called Holly and the Nice Lions, and Paul McComas is an author who wrote the book Unplugged, which he's spearheading getting turned into a movie. And he saw my band open up for the Corin Tucker Band in Milwaukee many, many, many years ago. And he said, Holly, I think you'd be good to make some of the music for this, because the protagonist is a female punk rocker. And then that spiraled into, I think you'd be a great lead. And then that spiraled into, I think you'd be great at producing. And now here I am trying to get a movie made with a bunch of very acclaimed, very talented actors that I never would have dreamed I would be able to work with. So, and musicians.
Because you've worked with so many big names on this movie. Like, what is your favorite memory of working with stars?
Well, first of all, when Kristin Lytie told me that I have a voice for radio. When Cheryl Lee, in the middle of our scene, she spun around and said, "It's so fun to play with you."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And just watching Louis Gossett Jr. and Ed Asner, like, because they're just so, like, legendary, just being able to be in the same context as them and watch them do their thing. And also I've learned so much from all the women and men that I've worked with. Like, I've learned a lot about, like, just acting and, working together to make the best of something. So,
well, I wasn't going to bring it up, but you mentioned Corin Tucker, so I'm just going to go there. Okay. So you had a great experience with her recently as well.
Yes, yeah. In January, we went out to Portland to have Corin Tucker of Sleater-Kinney produce a song for the soundtrack for this movie. And Corin Tucker is like probably the biggest musical influence in my life. Don't tell her that. I'm trying to stay cool. We're still cool, guys. So it was like, oh, okay, here we go. I'm just gonna go work with Corin Tucker, and she brought along John Goodmanson, who recorded so many, like, 90s great albums. Like, it's innumerable. So that experience was just out of this world, to, like, feel creatively on the same page with people that you have, like, such respect 4, it was like, whoa. And she brought me a birthday cake. She's so great.
Probably quite a surreal moment for you.
Yeah, it wasn't real. It just seems like a weird dream I had.
Well, again, I promise you that I'm going to have you tell me every minute detail eventually when I have time to enjoy it.
Yes, of course.
Now, Kristin, you've got some big stuff coming up as well with a big name in a different state, though, which can you tell me how you got involved with that?
I'm like, I do?
You've got the Brian Posehn thing.
Oh, yes.
And he's hilarious, by the way.
He is. He's someone I've been very lucky to work with, just such a stunningly kind and funny human being. I'm going to be hosting for him in Minneapolis next month, and then in September, I'll be featuring for him at the Skyline Comedy Club.
Kristin, there's people like me who really have no idea what the difference between hosting and featuring is. I know now, but can you explain what the difference is?
Yeah, so hosting is you kick off the show, you do about 10 minutes, and then in between each comedian, you do a little introduction for them and kind of get the crowd hyped up, make sure the energy's on track, and you're kind of like doing the housekeeping of the show. And then featuring is, it's wonderful. You just get up there and do 20 minutes in your cozy little spot, and no one's there to see you because they're there for the headliner, but it's amazing. It's my favorite. I love it.
So you like featuring over hosting?
I do, yes.
But now hosting, you still get to do a couple sets, right? But they're just a couple minutes each, typically?
Well, you only want to do time in between comedians if something took a turn, or if you have like a really funny, tight riff that will boost the energy. But generally, you never want to do time between people. You want to keep it going.
So I find that interesting. I guess I probably would personally. I would probably like just the introducing and then getting off the stage. But so the feature, the 20 minutes, is at the sweet spot for
it's so
a
good.
set?
Yes, it's amazing because it's just a very cozy spot, and I usually try 1 or 2 new jokes in those sets, and it's. I love it because I feel like it's a lot of pressure to be a headliner, and I work a full-time job, so getting up there and doing 45, 50 minutes is taxing. I'll say I'm lazy.
Do you remember when we saw Brian Posehn in Chicago like a million years ago?
I don't know. I was probably still drinking then. So no.
Yeah. But I remember like the first time that you opened for him, I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool that like someone that we went to go see because you're like, I want to go see him. Mm-hmm. And now you're actually working with him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's cool.
I like the fact that you guys have so much history together.
I know. I love being home and getting to see Holly and like go see her play. And I'm so excited for her movie. We're going to do a red carpet night when it comes out.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool.
Can I ask you, how do you how do you sell Green Bay to all your cool comedian friends that you get to come here? Because we're very lucky that like you're like a touchstone for Green Bay and for the comedy scene.
Thank you. I sell Green Bay as it is a fun community of weirdos, and we will love that you come to us. I remember going to shows at the Concert Cafe when I was a teenager, and we treated those bands like royalty,
Because we're just like, thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't have to sell that hard. I had another friend, actually, JT Haversat, who's going to be doing his book reading after the fest at Lion's Mouth on Sunday, the 27th of July. He asked me recently, he's like, what's your mortgage like? And I'm like, I'm pulling them in. Yeah. But Green Bay rules. It's, it's unpretentious. It's affordable. It's got a great art scene. It's got solid, good people in the arts community. People like Tom who've been putting on shows for their whole lives, creating community for us. I don't know. I feel like we got a good reputation.
Well, and people like you and Tom who also have outreach outside of the community. So we can bring in new things, but also still cultivate our local stuff, too.
Yeah. And I have noticed, we have a Green Bay comedy scene now. We do a weekly open mic at the Mad World Artist Collective, and it has been so fun to see new faces come out and people try stand-up. It feels awesome to see the scene grow like that.
That's a great question, Holly.
Mm-hmm. Guess I came in useful. Surprise.
So you mentioned the book at the Lion's Mouth. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so my friend JT Haversat, who runs the Altercation Comedy Festival in Austin, he wrote a book. He spent years interviewing comedians like Maria Bamford, Bobcat Goldthwait, Brian Posehn, Patton Oswalt, Kyle Kinane, Maria Bamford. And there's all these different chapters about how we all have different takes on things. So like one chapter is about how the kids in the hall have influenced all of us, or one chapter is about work ethic. I'm in it too, which was exciting to see my name along those kinds of people. But it's a really great read. It's very, like, you can pick it up and read at any point throughout the book. You don't have to read it front to back. It's a really cool way to see, like, the inner workings of a lot of comedians' minds. So he's going to be doing like a reading from that. I'm going to interview him at the show and ask him some questions at the Lion's Mouth.
What questions?
I'm going to ask him, how'd you get into comedy?
What's it like being a man in comedy?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to ask that one. What is it like being a man in comedy?
Is it pretty great?
Yeah. No, I've been jotting down some ideas. My main question is I want to ask him, like, what was it like to interview these amazingly fantastic, famous people? And also, like, what was it within each conversation that made you think, like, that's the chunk that needs to go in the book?
Well, it is exciting that he also talked to you for the book, and you've seen your part in the book.
Yes.
No regrets on anything that you said, or do you wish you would have said something more?
Sometimes I feel like I borderline with a little pretension, and like, so I read a few things and I was like, oh my God, get the stick out of your ass, Kristin. And then there was one I think is very funny. It's a typo, and it's supposed to say I was a zine writer, but it says I'm a Zen writer. So, like, I probably seem like such a douche. You know me, I'm very Zen.
I'm going to introduce you as that. This is my friend Kristin. She's a Zen writer.
So, Holly, what do you think is a sweet spot for 20 minutes is what Kristin said is the sweet spot for comedy for her. What do you think is a sweet spot for music?
It depends on the band. So, like, my band personally, we're kind of like a little high energy. We like to, like, what we say is we like to punch, kiss, and then get out of there. Mm-hmm. So we like to do like half an hour in the middle. Perfect. Because everyone's warmed up, but nobody's like tired and weird and maybe drunk. Yeah. So half an hour, 40 minutes, and leave them wanting more. Ha!
What's the longest set you ever played?
I think the longest we've played is like an hour at the Mile of Music. We were asked to play once an hour and a half for the mayor. Like
just alone with the mayor?
Just alone with the mayor. No, like the State of the City address or something. And I was like, is the State of the City chaos? Like, but then they couldn't find a space for an actual band on that short of notice. But I was like, okay, guys, we got to do an hour and a half. Like,
mm-hmm. I love that the mayor comes to shows.
Yeah.
I always it makes me feel like we're in our own little Portlandia. Like, oh, the mayor, hello.
Yes.
I remember you telling me once, though, that a bar asked you to play for like 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. I think because some bands do that. Some bands play for like 3 or 4 hours and they get paid thousands of dollars. But we're not, we physically couldn't.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
And we're not that kind of a band. You know, we're a band that we want you to come up front and experience it, not be in the background for 3 hours, you know. Mm-hmm. So
Holly and the Nice Lions, definitely the full-on energy band.
Definitely full-on energy, not kinda. Yeah. We're kind of energetic.
You're not background music.
Kristin, did you ever get booked, or did somebody ever try to book you for something that didn't book or might not have booked comedy before, and maybe try to book you for an hour or two set?
No one's ever wanted that from me.
Could you do an hour or 2 hour set?
I don't think I could ever do a 2 hour set. I could probably do an hour. It would just have a bit more crowd work in it. That's the secret. That's how comedians stretch their sets.
I think you should do an hour and then do a special.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like doing crowd work?
No.
It's a little bit on your record, I noticed.
I do like a few questions, but I go in with very intentional questions that I know are going to lead into a bit. So I love Maria Bamford. She has a new bit where she does crowd work with someone, but then gives them $40 because she believes all labor should be paid, and I love that.
I always fear when I go to a comedy show, I fear that somehow I'm going to get pulled into it, like in a ridicule way, like, hey, look at that guy sitting there, with, whatever. And so I normally sit there scared like I did in school that you're going to get called on.
Well, what I do when I do crowd work, I usually offer it to the crowd and let someone respond to me. I'm not just like, you, answer me.
I demand something.
I always do that. I do the not eye contact. Like, as soon as I think it's coming, I'll just like...
what's funny? I can't look at the front row. It's like too intense. And so I always look...
Too intimate.
It is. It's like, hello.
How far can you normally see when you're doing a set? Because they've got the bright lights typically.
Yeah, it depends on the room, but generally you can see like 5 rows back or so. So I always look over people's heads. They probably think I'm a sociopath. I'm like, no eye contact.
My eyes are closed the whole time.
But you look cool. Every photograph of me, I'm like...
I mean, I think that's for anyone on stage. Like, I'm always like...
No, I've gotten great ones of you. Yeah.
Well, you're just a good photographer.
Thank you.
You're just, like, good at everything.
Thank you.
Kristen, do you have somebody that you're excited to see at the GBUFO Invasion Fest 2025?
Pet Mosquito and Holly and the Nice Lions.
Playing on the same day, I believe.
Yes. We're playing that day with, like, so many bands we know, and then also, like, bands I haven't seen before.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reunion from Giant's Chair, which is like an old Green Bay band, and the Statics are flying in from Seattle. And it's also special because Boris the Sprinkler is doing the entirety of Saucer to Saturn, and it's Norb's birthday and Paul No. 1's birthday. They're both 60.
So many things.
Crazy that Norb has reached 60 because he's been such an institution for the music scene in Green Bay and Wisconsin. Of course, Green Blob luckily came out and made that more clear if people were just getting on the scene now. But 60 years old is kind of hard to believe.
And he still looks like he's 40, I swear.
I know. Amazing.
And the energy, too. But we all know that Norb can turn it on and then turn it off and conserve it and then blast it out. So, Boris the Sprinkler, exciting that one's going to be at the brewery the day before the Riverside show. But, Pet Mosquito, I've heard lots of great things. And I think Tom had them last year at GBUFO Fest.
They were there last year, and they also played at the GBUFO store, too. So
I didn't get to go to that. Did you?
Yeah, I was there.
They're so good.
Fun. Yeah.
They kind of remind me of the Dicks. Like,
I
very
could see
dancey,
that.
chaotic, fun.
Yeah.
And the variety of music, if it's some people might be under the assumption that the GBUFO Invasion Fest 2025 is just about punk music, but it's not. It's a lot of different genres of music. And of course, the Holly Nice Lions, I hate classifying. I'd say it's like rock, it's grunge.
It's whatever you want it to be.
What would you say, Holly?
Yeah, how do you define your music?
Well,
I know a lot of people just throw everything under indie rock.
Yeah, I just tell people who aren't music nerds, I'm just like, it's loud and you probably wouldn't like it. It's just loud.
I describe your band as very Stooges influence. Would you say that's right?
Yes. I wouldn't disagree with that. For like music nerd people, I take things that I've read in like certain reviews and I was like, yeah, that sounds right. And put it together. So I'm like, we're like art rock, post-punk, like rock and roll. Yeah.
It's a lot of labels, so you kind of catch everything.
Well, you don't want to just like play like the same thing all the time.
What I love watching your band is like, I feel like I can tell when people genuinely like each other. Yeah. And like you three, when you play, just have such chemistry. And it's, I don't know, it feels like, I don't know, watching friends. It's cool.
Thanks for noticing. Yeah. I love Travis and Steven and Chris. So it's always nice to play with people that like bring out the best in you, you know?
Any chance you'll take the Nice Lines out on a short tour like Travis is doing with...
Oh, yeah, I would love to. I want to see how this album stuff works out. And then, we all have jobs. So we'd have to like take time off work and go out. So, but yeah, I'd love to tour a little bit.
Do you need a roadie?
Sure.
I'm strong.
Hop aboard.
Hell yeah.
Do you run into people that think it's glamorous to be a comedian or a musician and that you must not have a full-time job?
Yeah. I mean, okay, this is going to be weird. But like we played a show in Madison, and I work for an environmental science company, and we have a Madison office, and the Madison office people came to see my band play, and I was like, oh no, my worlds are colliding. And one of them afterwards were like, why do you work here? And I was like, well, I need insurance. Like, do you think this is paying a lot?
Yeah.
Sir?
That's what I love about my record label is Brandy started it purposely to get working class comedians into industry, because like you need to have rich parents if you want to be a full-time comedian, or, you know, live on the road and live a life that, you know, I'm 45 and tired. I need a nice bed. Like, I spend my time sleeping under 45. Bridges. Yeah.
Remember when we used to like share a couch?
Yes. Oh my God. We can't do that anymore.
We can't do that. We're too old.
We have a nice life now.
What do you mean,
And
like
I
you
like going to a
share a
doctor.
couch, like somebody sleeps on one side, somebody sleeps on the other?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Someone's on the floor, someone's in the car.
Someone's sleeping on a chair.
Just hearing that. You said floor, and that my back instantly started hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, all right, well, thank you for coming by, Kristin. I feel like you've got a lot going on, and Hal, you do too, so I appreciate you guys taking time to come here. The GBUFO Invasion Fest 2025 taking place pretty fast.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Want to say those dates again?
Friday, July 25th and Saturday, July 26th. Friday at Badger State, Saturday at Riverside Ballroom.
Tickets available at the GBUFO Gift Museum record shop. Mm-hmm. A bunch of other places.
Yeah, do you want me to do them again?
Yeah.
Irving Place Records in Milwaukee, Mad City Music in Madison, and Eroding Winds in Appleton and Oshkosh.
Thanks for doing your homework.
Hey, I love notes.
Disassociation Vacation is still available on vinyl format.
Yeah,
Kristin
please buy 50 of them.
when you run out of them, Kristin, I think you'll be sad.
I will be. It's nice to have that. It feels, profesh to have it.
And of course, if anybody wants to find out what you have coming up, it's KristinLytie.com.
Yes.
You've got your shows updated on there. Any parting words or anything you want to say?
Come to GBUFO Fest, see Holly and the Nice Lions, see comedy from all over the country. It's going to be a kick-ass weekend, and we're going to have so much fun. Green Bay rules.